Well, now Sunday afternoon. Welcome to End the Simpademic. This is Jason. I am here with what I threw a little teaser about in my short this morning, and that is, why do you root for relationships to succeed between couples when they're doing it in a way that doesn't align with your personal beliefs? I haven't gotten this much question as much lately, but it does come up from time to time in real life. And I'm going to add right now that yes, I am an evangelical Christian. I personally do believe that sex is reserved for marriage. However, a couple of the relationships that I mentioned here, I don't know. I don't know them personally well enough to know exactly what their situation is on that one, but they haven't really made a proclamation or taken that particular stand. So in today's world, you generally assume that they're not reserving that for marriage. But that is okay, because I root for relationships to succeed of all kinds, even if they don't particularly fit my personal beliefs, because I think the relationship dynamic has become so toxic at this point that we need any and all that we can get as far as success is concerned. And of course, this toxic environment has resulted in the rise of the MGTOW movement, the rise of the Passport Bros movement, even not as dramatically, but there's even the pickup artists or PUA movement, where men only pursue women for the purpose of one night stands. That is another portion of this toxic environment that we're in right now. And MGTOW, of course, is kind of the opposite of that. Those two groups do not have any particular love for each other. And in a situation where the gender dynamics are at their worst in American history, possibly even in the history of the entire West. And we need all we can get right now. We need as many positive examples as we can get right now. And if they don't and I will also add that, when it comes to my particular faith and beliefs, it is not my job to impose my faith and beliefs on other people. I want to be an example, and I want to make it as attractive as I can. But that is not achieved by forcing my faith beliefs or beliefs in the Christian realm on other people. I've mentioned this in my Facebook posts. I've mentioned this in passing at times here. When it comes to advice and good examples, Scripture does not delineate between people who are of the faith and not. Good advice can come from anybody, particularly if they are, in an expert in a specific area. So, a professional bowler by the name of Verity Crawley, I belong to her Patreon, and I follow her equipment advice for my bowling, for example. She's never made any statement of faith, and I don't believe, I kind of have the hunch that she's agnostic, but that's okay, because for bowling purposes, she's an expert. And she knows what she's talking about. And so I will take my advice from her. And in regards to relationships and things like that, they don't necessarily have to be of the faith to be an example of a good one. And good things can come from anywhere. Bad things can come from anywhere. As I've mentioned on this channel in the past, I have been falsely accused of sexual harassment in a church, in an evangelical Christian church, just for merely asking somebody out to brunch. And for no other reason than I probably am not your typical Chad. I'm not your typical 6 foot tall, six-figure income. Although there was no way she would have been able to tell that on the spot. But I am not anybody's version of a 10 as far as physical attraction is concerned, or as far as the overall attraction is concerned. I've said it here before, I generally give myself, if I'm going to be generous, I say I'm a 6. As far as physical appearance is concerned, I'm probably a 5. I'm 5'10". I have actually lost some weight here recently. I'm down to about 215 now. And so I root for goodness in general, regardless of whether they align with my personal faith and beliefs or not. That is irrelevant to why I approach that the way I do. Not everything in my life is God and the Bible and the faith are a big part of my life. But I do not insist that everybody align with me on that, because we have free will. I live in the United States. I live in America. We have freedom of choice in that regard. I think the Christian church excels and is in a better position in a open marketplace of ideas than it is in, say, a theocracy. In the 3rd century AD, Emperor Constantine came to power, and the Christian faith went from being a faith of people who were being killed, sawed in two, burned, and thrown in front of the lions, to one where it's the favored religion of the Roman Empire. And look at the Middle Eastern now. Look at the Middle Eastern world now. Yes, Islam is the state religion of most of those countries. And yet, at the same time, has Islam grown and expanded as a result? The answer is probably no. It has only expanded in countries where there's actually, freedom of faith and expression, such as the United States. But it hasn't really expanded in countries like Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the like. So therefore, I do not believe in forcing my faiths and beliefs on others. And therefore, I think relationships as a whole, we need to find positive examples of this anywhere we can. That is why I root for them all, for as many to succeed as possible. I think our country right now is going to be in a position where the birth rate right now, 1.71 for every, woman of childbirth age, potentially fertile, is, 1.71 is a natural decline. For a population to naturally sustain itself, 2.1 seems to be the generally agreed upon mark. And out of all 50 states, only one is at that level right now, and that is the state I'm very familiar with, and that's the state of North Dakota, which is kind of necessary there because they have a higher population of senior citizens, so their natural population actually is going downward as well, but it's not going downward nearly enough to result in a massive decline in their population. In fact, their population is still growing because of net migration right now. That particular type of traditional culture is appealing to many people at this point. And their economy is not too shabby either, as a whole. So anyway, I digress. Going back to my main point here, I do not care if relationships succeed outside of the Christian faith. Here in the United States, we need as many of these to succeed as possible, because we have the black pill and red pill content right now persuading men that they don't need women, and women, extreme feminism, persuading women that they don't need men. This is an unhealthy environment, and our society and culture, particularly Western societies where these philosophies are widespread, going both ways here on this one, have made for such a toxic environment that positive examples of relationships and families are drowned out. We need as much of this from as many places as we can get it, and therefore I really don't care if they align with my faith beliefs or not. I guess some people inside of the faith who do ask that on occasion, and that will always be my answer. I will die on this hill. So anyway, this is Jason with End the Simpademic. Enjoy your Sunday afternoon. It's sunny and a little bit chilly here in Minnesota right now. We're in the low 20s, but the sun is blasting pretty good, and it's pretty warm in my place right now because of that sun. My apartment does face south, so that's gonna always be the situation. It gets actually even worse in the summertime. But anyway, tomorrow on End the Simpademic, I'm going to also throw another teaser out there. I'm going to be talking about a little bit more about red pill content and what kind of an effect it has on us. So anyway, that is it for Sunday afternoon. Hope you enjoyed this episode and a half. Thank you to everybody who follows me right now. It's all 45 people. Thank you to everybody who comments. If you have any expansion on these ideas, feel free to comment below as well. Appreciate you all. You folks have a fantastic day, and peace out, homies.